Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I titled this message, The Bare Minimum. The Bare Minimum. And this focus today is on the cheapskate, loved one, family member, friend, partner. You might know him or her. Hopefully you're not that one listening to this message, because you will be offended. We're talking about the cheapskate, the stingy, the one who does the bare minimum, does just enough to get by. This is always the cheapskate's strategy. And the plan by doing the bare minimum is, one, to protect one's assets, two, to teach some people or an individual a lesson or two, three, to utilize his or her resources to pay someone back. Oh, yes. Sometimes they have all sorts of money and opportunity and so forth, but they're not going to say anything to anyone about it, because the plan is to hoard wealth for a time and then use it to hurt someone. Okay. And they may do it by entertaining themselves. They may do it by buying for someone, that the individual who's waiting on something, for instance, buying for that other person. So you might see this sort of thing with the golden child and the black sheep. The black sheep doesn't get too much of anything. The golden child, the cheapskate, will be there. Maybe not necessarily monetarily like one hopes, but emotionally, because that's the cheaper way. The bare minimum. I'm only going to be there to help you for a certain period of time. It's going to be just enough. It's never going to be what you need or over or in abundance or blessings overflow. Oh no. The cheapskate, he says or she says, this isn't what I'm going to do. And I know that's what he or she's expecting. But if he or she's expecting a help here, then they're probably going to expect another help and another help. And I'm not going to do that. See, we got some people, even on the internet, who they're okay with being supportive of you emotionally. They're okay with letting you know that they like what you do and all of that. But what they're not okay with is having to pay for anything. Okay. This isn't anything to do with, oh, this person is not a believer, or this person's unspiritual, or this person's a troublemaker. It's just that some of these individuals, they're not giving up on their cash. Okay. Unless it's for what they feel they need or they want. If they don't feel like they need you in their lives, they don't feel like they need your products or your services, then they will distance themselves. Okay. Because what you're offering is no longer free. It's no longer buy one, get one. There's no longer any discounts. And so they're on to someone else. Okay. This is why sometimes when people release a product, and I know for me, I've done this, we release the product at the maximum price, because we know as time goes on that people will get distracted. People will not be as supportive. Things will change. And if you offer any type of discounts or what have you, people are going to expect that you'll do that with everything else, you see. And how are you going to be able to thrive as a business if I am giving everything free? I'm giving discounts and I'm giving so much stuff all the time. Okay. No, that's why there's a certain season where we give for free. We give in abundance. And we also have a season where we've got to get the retail price out there. Okay. The highest amount that we can possibly get for an item. Now, some of you all in business, you understand this perfectly. People who are not in business and they're just simply consumers who are shopping for a lot of different things. All they're looking for is the best deal. Okay. Some people, they want quality items, but they want to pay cheaply for it. Okay. It's expensive to produce a quality item. And if you want quality, then you've got to be willing to support the people who are able to get the quality items. okay, or produce the quality items. But if you don't do that, then you get what you pay for, right? And so many people keep so much of China's products in business for sale because of their cheap ways. Now, the bare minimum, I will tell you that it will cause you to sin. Okay, that's the spiritual side of things when it comes to someone giving you the bare minimum. It will cause you to sin. How might it do that? Okay. If I know that I need X amount of dollars and somebody gives me the bare minimum, sometimes gratefulness has a way of not showing up because, hey, you didn't give me what I asked for. You gave me the bare minimum. So the enemy will use this sort of thing to play with our minds, to get us very frustrated, get us upset, and cause some divisiveness even, because I'm not getting my needs met. Okay. God will then, being that those of you all who are spiritual, God will then speak into your spirit, whether he's using people, places, things, or even yourself, to tell you that you're not going to allow the enemy to get the upper hand on you. Okay. Through giving you the bare minimum or nothing at all even. Okay. Sometimes people will withhold items, like they'll give you a little bit and then have this long period of withholding items because, well, some other responsibilities came up. I was unable to help you out. Okay. But I do intend on helping you. And that's beautiful. That's great. We all understand things happen. I do the same thing. So that's where we are those inconsistent givers at times. Okay. But then what happens is once you get those items or you got the money or what have you, then you go ahead and you help because, hey, you stand by your word. But cheapskates, stingy people, even greedy people who like to hoard wealth and so forth, these people are not going to do that sort of thing, but for so long. They're going to give you a little bit. But then when they're not giving you, it is strategically being done to cause some problems if they feel in any sort of way that you are a foe to them or they don't like you or they're jealous of you or what have you. So they attempt to get into your life by giving you just enough, just a little bit, just enough to make them feel good about what they're doing and make you rely on them to a certain extent, and then they pull back. Okay. Once again, it's like dangling that carrot right in front of the rabbit and then pulling it away and pulling it away. Okay. And then if the rabbit's not paying attention, he ends up jumping off the cliff somewhere. Okay. And so they do this sort of thing. They play these little mind games. Some of them, they don't know that's what they're doing because they have had this sort of thing done to them. Usually they were raised by a cheap father or a cheap mother, or they were both cheap, okay, selfish individuals, hoarders of greed, wealth. And if they don't put their mannerisms, behavior, so forth in check, they will repeat the cycle. Okay, I've been around my share of cheapskates, and when I noticed that I was acting a bit that way, I had to put a check on myself. No, wait a minute. You're mimicking other people's behaviors. Okay. You know, that's not the way you are. Your true nature, your true being is not like that. You're a generous person. If anything, you're too generous, but you're generous. So don't embrace that. That comes with a lot of bondage. That comes with a lot of baggage. And there's a lot of stuff that the enemy uses, to hurt others using cheapskates. Okay. So the individual could help, but they only give minimal or no help at all. And the plan is that there is division that takes place over time, over the fact that this person is not doing what they should be doing. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do A, B, and C, but my intention is really not to do it, because what I hope is that there'll be enough frustration with what I'm not doing, or the person will have so much negative to say about what I'm not doing, and I basically become the topic of conversation, to the point where two people are arguing, fussing, and fighting, and then I'll get my way, whatever that way is. You might have a father, or you might have a mother who does this sort of thing. You might have an ex who does this sort of thing. Okay. Come into your life for a season, give you just enough, whether that's mentally related types of things or physically related types of things. And then they dip once they get whatever they were after. And then you don't see them again. Or you might hear from them. And it's only when they suspect that you got something coming to you. Oh, now suddenly everybody's on their best behavior. And now suddenly the cheapskate is given a little bit more than normal. And then what happens is that some people will make a big deal about the cheapskate stepping it up. Look what he did. Oh, look what she did. She finally came through. Wow, right? Okay, but this is temporal. Okay, it's temporal. This isn't a new change of attitude. This isn't something where God has moved upon them in such a way where their personality is forever fixed and they're going to always be kind, generous, gentle, and not having something up their sleeve. No, it's just temporal. They were in a happy mood and decided to do something nice for that day or for that moment or maybe for that week or maybe even for a year if you're blessed enough, right? And then it's back to the old ways again. Because I didn't like what she said, so I'm going to pull back. Or I'm not going to continue to do this because, well, I had that money, but I don't have it now. You see, whatever the case may be. So the cheap goods show up. What do cheap goods do? They break, right? They're ineffective. It's not what I asked for. That's the wrong part. And the cheapskate says, well, I don't know what to do. I gave it to you or I bought it for you, so you go figure it out. Oh, my goodness. So now you're cussing and you're fussing about it. Okay. And now the enemy's playing with your mind a bit. So you went from arguing about this cheapskate who was giving you the bare minimum. Then you're arguing about the fact that the cheapskate gave something that just wasn't workable. Then you find yourself frustrated, bent out of shape and so forth, because now guess what the cheapskate is doing? Defending his or her actions. At least I bought it. I mean, you could do the rest. I mean, what are you expecting from me? Blood? No, I'm expecting you to spend about 10 or 15 more dollars. Well, I'm not going to do that. Cheapskate is going to be demanding at times, even though he or she gave just a little. Okay, well, I expect this, I expect that. Now that I'm giving you this money, now that I'm giving you this time, I mean, come on now, you better do this and that. Okay, seriously? Your $20 and your hour in service is not that serious. I mean, I don't want to have to go there, but there's somebody that gave $150 and put in about 4 hours service. So I'm just saying, you see, cheapskate people want their little efforts to be paid, repaid, and paid some more. Okay. Cheapskates are going to bind you to something if you ask them for anything. I need some help from you. Okay. What you intend on doing for me? What? Excuse me? Well, you know that if you get some help from me, I'm going to need some things taken care of. Are you prepared to do that? And usually what they ask for is far more than what they're willing to give you. Okay. For instance, you meet this individual and you talk to him about what your needs are. And that person says, okay, I've helped many people in your situation. Sure. So they give you some things and you're happy. You're like, wow, okay, took care of this bill, made sure that this was taken care of for me, stepped up to the plate when I asked for this or that or whatever. Okay, so, but then they come back around and they say, all right, remember when you asked me for some help? Yes. Okay. I need for you to travel with me here. And then I also need for you to help me out with this project. And also I'm going to need for you to run some errands. And then there is a new project that I'm working with and I'm going to need your help with that. Whoa, wait a minute. You see, that's too much. But remember now, you asked me for some help. Cheapskates a lot of times are looking for free labor. Or if not free labor, they're going to give you the bare minimum when it comes to payment, because they're looking out for their wallet. Okay. They're not looking out for you and all of your bills and all of your responsibilities. They won't even tip you. Some of them. Some of them will, but their tip isn't nothing to yell about. Some of them will give you generously for that moment, but then the next time they need you, they're not going to be as generous. Okay. Some of them will give you a nice amount of money or service or what have you, with the intention, though, of never giving you anything else in the future. Okay. And you got to watch out for that. A lot of cheapskates have temporal relationships with others. It's just a common interest or a common duty that we're all a part of in this moment. But after that, there is no further connection. There's a gradual disconnection because cheapskates are so worried that you're going to come back around and ask them for time or for service or expect something from them. Even if you didn't ask, just expect something from them. You may not be the one who's doing that, but you can sit back and watch how some of these stingy, selfish, as well as self-absorbed types of individuals are. Okay. You want the designer item, they're going to get you the knockoff. You want the set that has all of these different features, they're going to get a set that's only giving you limited features. You were anticipating a really nice gift and even told them what you're hoping for, and they make sure that they don't get you what you're hoping for, and they make sure that the gift looks nice but isn't necessarily all that workable. Okay. The cheapskate puts his or herself first at all times. Okay. It's what makes me feel good. It's what is going to make me look good. It's going to be what is affordable to me. So if he or she disagrees with the $150 this item costs, okay, they're going to look for something similar, possibly comparable, but not necessarily as good as the $150 item. Okay. So, I found it for $75, but that's not what I wanted. And I saw that myself. The reason why I didn't get it was because these features were absent and I really need these features. Why don't you just be grateful? No, why don't you go and take that item back to the store and get me what I asked for? Well, I'm not doing that. And you don't understand. It costs a lot of money to do this, that, and the other. And anyway, blah, 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 blah. When all they had to do was just get the right item from the start. Okay. God blesses, but cheapskates don't want to look at that. They don't look at the fact that what they do today, later on, you never know who you might need, and you never know what God might do, right? Some folks just don't want to step out on faith. It's always about them and them alone. And if you are that one that needs something and there is no shine given to the cheapskate, he or she marks you. And they don't want to have anything to do with you if you don't fall all over in happiness, about what they do for you. Okay. So for some of you all, I know that at times you feel alone when you're dealing with these people, but don't feel alone because so many of us have gone through some serious arguments, had to break up with people, had to distance ourselves, had to go low contact and no contact because of miserly individuals. We have had to fight battles, okay, because miserly folks didn't want to step it up. And it hurts that you got to do all of these different things, but it happens all because somebody is hoarding money, all because somebody doesn't want to do what is right. So we put God on a case, right? We talk to the Lord about these issues and we ask him to deliver us from that individual who's acting like that. We don't want to stay connected with people like this. Okay. We don't want to have to jump through hoops every time we need something from them. We ask that the Lord replace them with more generous, kind, respectful even, because sometimes these cheapskates can be quite belligerent, rude, okay, and just simply hard to deal with. We ask that the right people come along. I'm praying this right now for one particular individual who's dealing with someone like this, that we ask in Jesus' mighty name that others will step up to the plate. Even though the cheapskate is praying possibly the same thing, we're asking in Jesus' mighty name that others will step up to the plate, but that the cheapskate will no longer benefit from us from the individual that I'm praying for, that there will be no more taking advantage, no more false promises, no more using and abusing, no more buying cheap goods and then calling folks names because they're not happy with what they have received. No more of that in Jesus' mighty name. We ask that the blood covering of Jesus be upon those individuals who have to confront a miserly, selfish individual. And we pray that they will have the favor and that they will get what was promised to them, that they will get what, Lord Jesus, you have in store for them, and that the enemy will no longer block their blessings, including mine, in Jesus' mighty name, and that favor will be upon all of us, Lord, in Jesus' name. And I'm telling you that when you pray just a simple prayer like that, you do start to see change. And I'm a witness to it. I mean, there were people who I was thinking, are they going to do? Are they going to help? Are they this, that, and the other? Next thing you know, God just moves upon them and they're stepping it up. Okay. And then those that weren't stepping it up, the Lord removes them and then replaces them with some people who are a lot better emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And that's always good too. So that is it. Be encouraged this day. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7, or this may be uploaded on a different podcast. And if so, I would suggest that you subscribe, because 9 times out of 10, there's going to be more. So that is it. Thank you once again. Blessings to you.